Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to another bio video. Today I'm going to be talking about how hormones elicit responses from cells and the process of signal transduction. So all hormones are signaling molecules that lead to changes in cells, but how they achieve that actually depends on the type of hormone that you have. So for example, hydrophilic hormones or polar hormones cannot diffuse through the cell membrane of cells. So this means that they have to bind to an extracellular receptor on the cell. Now, to make sure that that message from outside the cell, this hormone which is bound to a receptor, gets inside the cell, a number of changes have to occur, and this process is called signal transduction. So usually what happens is that binding of the hormone to the extracellular receptor actually results in a change in an internal part of that receptor. So some of the receptors actually inside the cell, there'll be a change in that part of the receptor, and this will then activate other molecules within the cell. This means that you can start with one hormone molecule and end up with a really large response, because some of these molecules can then activate even more molecules, and they can go on to activate even more molecules. So you have a bit of an internal relay of molecules within the cell. Now, some of these molecules that are activated will actually be effector molecules, so often effector proteins, and it's these proteins that will then elicit the cellular response. So this, for example, could be the activation of an enzyme within the cell, it could be a change in the cell's cytoskeleton, etc. So there's lots of different things that could actually happen. So as well as this hydrophilic process, there's also a hydrophobic process as well. So the cell signaling process for hydrophobic or polar hormones is different from that of hydrophilic hormones. So in this case, the hydrophobic hormones can actually diffuse straight through the cell membrane, and this means that they bind to a cytosolic or nucleus receptor rather than one that sits on the cell membrane. So when the hydrophobic hormone binds to this internal receptor, the complex then moves to the DNA within the nucleus, and that process will end up influencing transcription. So that means that we could have increased transcription of a gene or decreased transcription of a gene. That's the most common process that you'll have for your steroid hormones, so for example, testosterone and estrogen. So that's my summary of cell signaling and signal transduction. I hope you found it useful.